Max Rohskopf joins me now as he gets ready to make his UFC debut this Saturday as he steps in on short notice to replace Joe Solecki and face Austin Hubbard. How are you, Max?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thank you for the time. Did I say that last name right?
Yeah, you can say it however you want. I don't really care. It's I say it Rohskopf. Some members of my family say Rohskopf. I really don't care.
Well, I saw a previous interview with you and Gorgeous George in Asana, and I thought he called you like Rosenstrike or something like that.
He did that on purpose, though. It's part of it. You got a little gimmick going on. He tries to mess around, fuck around, and so yeah, he messed it up on purpose because he knows it.
Well, my last name is pronounced Jarrell, but a lot of people say Jarrell, so I feel you. I wanted to make sure I did you right and said it correctly there. Tell me, man, when did you get the call from your manager, Brian Butler, and find out that you're fighting on Saturday?
Yeah, so we actually had a conversation like 2 weeks ago because when someone pulled out for the Daniel Rodriguez fight, he messaged me. He was like, "Hey, are you comfortable going up to 70?" I was like, "Yeah, let's go." And then that obviously didn't happen. And then he called me. Would have been Saturday morning, and was like, "Hey, I heard this is just like I just woke up." And he's like, "Hey, this is just a rumor, but I think someone's gonna pull out." He didn't tell me who, but like just be ready, do what you got to do today, and then like I'll let you know. Calls me later that day, and I was like, "Hey, like you're in, let's go." But then he tried to play it off. He was like calling me, told me who it was, and then he was like, "Ah, man, I don't think you're gonna." And then he tells me I'm getting it, and then he's super excited. My coaches are super excited, but I'm like a guy that like this isn't. Obviously, it's exciting, but it's no reason to celebrate, right? Like, if I just make it to the UFC and that's it, I'm going to be really disappointed.
Mm.
And so, to me, it's just like a stepping stone. I'm happy and excited and stuff, but I'm not. Everyone's congratulating me. I haven't done shit yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the only thing I've done is create a lot of hype around my name and stuff. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean anything if I don't go out there and put on a performance.
You tweeted on June 9th that you were going to take a short notice fight if necessary at 170 pounds, but an injury was affecting you. Did that play into your decision as to accepting this fight now at 155? And how are you feeling? Tell me about that injury.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. You know, just from how hard I train and stuff, there's a lot of the times where I have to take like a week or two and train light. When I say I wasn't training, I wasn't sparring balls to the wall like I normally do and training super hard, but I was still in the gym. I was still practicing and stuff like that. So I've been ready. But just because like I don't really do the whole like fight camp thing where I do train 8 weeks and then take 4 weeks off and shit. I've been in the gym every single day almost my whole life, and it stayed that way. And so that's also the reason why I can make weight really easy. I'm not a guy that balloons up, takes weight. I have actually a hard time putting on weight. Like I have to eat a lot to gain weight because if I'm training 2-3 times a day, you gotta eat a ton of food, and I'm not a guy that wants to eat all that much anyway. So I eat more for just because I like it. But after I eat, I'm like I don't pick myself and get fat and shit.
What's your weight right now? How much left do you have to cut?
Like I was 164 after I trained a little bit.
Okay. And what do you normally walk around at? What is that cut like to get down to 55?
170. My first pro fight I cut from 85. When I was wrestling in college, I wrestled 165, so I tried to walk around like 180. I was bigger. But now, like, since I did the one cut from 185, like, I started hydrated at 185. Made the weight, but that I was just like, yeah, no, I don't want to ever do that again. That sucked. And ever since then, I've made my cuts from about 68, 69. And it's funny because, like, Robert Drysdale, one of my coaches, he's used to regular fighters. Like, they're getting ready to make weight. They want babysat. They need someone there to sit with them in the bathtub and give them a pep talk and make sure they're doing okay and stuff. And then, like, with me, he's like, you need anything? I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm gonna sit in the bath for 20 minutes. Just wrap me up when I come out. I'm laughing and making jokes, and he's like, dude, you're in a good mood. Like, this isn't hard enough. You should go 145 if it's this easy. I'm like, no. Just because I don't do a good job at it doesn't mean I should be going down a weight. You know, it's like, it's hard, but at the end of the day, if you act like it's hard, it's going to make it worse. So I just don't, I make it a game, like kind of more like, make it a challenge. Like, all right, let's see if I can cut this weight and not be a bitch about it.
Yeah, he's lucky to have a wrestler like you. My dad was a state champion wrestler in high school, and he told me you guys are the toughest around. It's such a grueling sport, and all the weight cutting that you guys have to do on a regular basis. This must be a piece of cake for you to get down to 55.
I cut way more weight in high school on a 1 hour notice.
Wow.
I'm not 1 hour notice on a 1 hour weigh-in. Like, I cut way more in high school. You can't cut that weight. You can't cut like that in college, though, because it doesn't matter how good you are. You'll get beat up if your weight's not on point. But when I was in high school, I was doing stupid cuts every week, twice a week on a 1 hour weigh-in. It's not like you have 24 hours to recover. Yeah, I never want to go back to the high school weight cutting days. You couldn't pay me.
Yeah. Well, you're in the UFC now. You don't have to worry about that. Tell me, what is this fight deal? Is it a 4-fight deal?
I believe it's a 4-fight deal, yes.
All right. Well, that's exciting. Now, as far as this pandemic goes, man, tell me, what has training been like for you? How complicated has it been to get the work in with everything kind of like on shutdown?
You know, so my coaches were awesome. Dewey Cooper and Robert Drysdale, they were just like, hey, like, we're going to train through this. Especially knowing that with this pandemic, it was probably going to work in my favor, especially if fights were in Vegas. And I'm pretty much ready as far as, like, I think some people might want me to have more fights or whatever, but as far as, like, the work I've done in the gym against guys who are already there and stuff like that, they know I'm ready mentally and physically and skill-wise. So we were just kind of hoping I was going to get in on short notice, and so we were training like that the whole time.
Who have been some of your main training partners? Orlando, Joey, anyone new?
Bubba Jenkins. I got Isaiah Gathings. But yeah, Bubba, Joey, Orlando, Isaiah, and I got a couple wrestlers that I'm buddies with that come in and wrestle with me. And then before that, when I was at Extreme, I was training with a ton of guys that are in the UFC and used to be in the UFC. So I've gotten the pleasure of training with a lot of different people.
Yeah, no doubt. Tell me, what have you been doing outside of training during the pandemic? Have you been catching up on your Star Wars, watching anything on Netflix? What have you been doing there?
Call of Duty and Madden Ultimate Team. I've been playing a ton of that. Super waste of time, but, you know, got nothing else to do. It wasn't teaching kids, wasn't doing privates or anything like that. So I had a lot of time to just sit back and recover and then wait for the next training session to start.
Yeah, I love Madden. What team do you play with?
So I do Ultimate Team, where, like, you make your own team, and I don't normally go with like I'm a Browns fan, but they fucking suck, so it's kind of annoying.
Do you think Beckham's going to get traded? There's been a lot of rumors as far as that goes.
You know, I'm not sure. I don't know if that would be what's best for the team. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. Has Jadeveon Clowney signed with anyone yet?
Geez, I haven't heard if he has.
I heard the Browns were a front runner for him, and I think if you get rid of Vernon or even just keep him, and you can pick up Clowney. So I heard the Browns were one of the top guys who made it the best offer. I would like to see Clowney there.
Yeah, well, you guys clearly have a really talented roster on offense and defense, so I'm sure you're going to be better this upcoming season than you were last year. I'm a Patriots fan. Nobody feels bad for me, but I'm still struggling a little bit now that Tom Brady's down in Tampa Bay. It's weird to see, and actually they just showed him in his new jerseys today, and oh my God, I felt nauseous.
I'm going to sign my transfer fan team papers after this year to the Ravens if the Browns can't do shit. I've been a Browns fan for 25 years, and it's been long enough. I'm going to sign the dotted line. I'm going to the Ravens, baby.
Well, I'm thinking that the Browns are going to be okay, so we'll hold tight, hope that they'll be all right, maybe make a playoff push this upcoming season. You know, one thing I wanted to ask you, clearly everyone knows you're an extremely accomplished wrestler at NC State. What was the most difficult part of making the transition to MMA? Was there a discipline that you had a little bit of difficulty with, or was it just kind of smooth sailing for you?
Jiu-jitsu. Everyone wouldn't guess, but it was jiu-jitsu, and that's why everyone now, like, I see people thinking I'm just a jiu-jitsu guy, and it's funny as fuck. And it's like I saw that as it was something where, like, I was one of the best wrestlers in the country, and I started doing jiu-jitsu. I'm getting beat up by like blue belts, getting tapped like easy, even after I like control the position and stuff. And then I was just like, I had a really good coach, Sean Spangler in North Carolina, who's a black belt under Robert Drysdale. Told me, he's like, hey man, like, you need to learn this for what it is. And then I was lucky enough to have some high level jiu-jitsu competitions where I lost, and I was able to see where I need to adjust and like when I need to do more wrestling stuff, when I need to be a little bit more jitsy. And the jiu-jitsu was definitely at first was the hardest. But I've been doing jiu-jitsu and boxing both since I was 18. So by the time I started actually fighting 5 years later, I already had a good basic understanding of a lot of things. And so I think jiu-jitsu at first was the hardest.
Tell me, you're a huge prospect. Everyone's been expecting you to get this call up to the UFC, and now here you are. You feel extra pressure now that you're actually here?
I feel it right now, but I feel it before all my fights, even against the guys I fought before. I always feel pressure before, but I've been competing for so long. I know how to turn that off when it's time to go out and compete. So I know that about myself just from doing all the jiu-jitsu tournaments, all the wrestling matches, all the wrestling tournaments, all my fights. That nervous energy will make you sharp, but you can't let it overtake you. And so I think you guys are going to see a really calm, relaxed, composed 5-0 fighter that you've probably never seen anything like it before.
Have they told you, I guess, the precautions and the things that you have to do to get cleared to fight? I mean, they've been doing that nose swab where they basically stick that thing way up in your brain.
They stuck something down my throat today, and I was making jokes about me not having a gag reflex.
So none of that stuff bothers you. You're going to be able to get through whatever it is and just focus on the fight.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. Like I said earlier, a lot of this stuff's going to be my job now.
Yeah.
So that media, if you tell me I got to do a COVID test, if you tell me I got to do paperwork, like, this has been what I've wanted to do since I was. When I was younger, I didn't know it was going to be the UFC, but I knew I wanted to be a professional athlete. And whether that was trying to make an Olympic run or do whatever, this is what I've wanted to do my entire life. I don't want to do anything else ever, at least until I'm ready. And so I want to be a professional about it. There's no sense in coming in here and complaining and then like them not wanting me. Like, I want them, after this 4-fight deal, I want them to be asking me so bad to come back. And that doesn't just come along with my skills in the cage. It comes along with everything else outside of it too.
Who will be in your corner come fight night?
Robert Drysdale, Dewey Cooper, and Hiroshi Allen.
All right, so that's a great squad. Another thing that I know a lot of people are interested about, do you feel like the fact that you'll be fighting in front of no fans and you're going to have a smaller cage, will either one of those affect you in a good or a bad way?
Yeah, I like to listen to my my opponent's corner, so I'll be able to hear better. And then I think as far as like I don't really think I've always dreamed of like my first UFC fight being on like obviously like a smaller card, a smaller on the undercard of like a big pay-per-view is what I've always wanted, but in front of a big crowd. But it's not going to work out like that, and so I'm fine with it.
Tell me about the matchup with Hubbard. He's got a little bit more experience, 11-4 as a professional. How do you feel like you match up?
I was actually signed with LFA when he was the LFA champ, but I never had any fights under them. So I've been watching him since forever. And then I was actually training with Mark Madsen, for his fight against Hubbard at the time. And so I've gotten to see all of his fights. just because I'm a little bit of a jiu-jitsu nerd. I obviously watched the Ramos fight. I think it's a good matchup. I do think that all the questions that are out there about me not being able to go past the first round and the cardio issues and him having good cardio and he's super tough, like it's intriguing. It's an intriguing matchup, and I really do think that we might steal the show. And it's the first fight, and I think it's going to be good.
Tell me, did you learn anything from training with Madsen and then watching that fight against Hubbard that gives you a little bit more of an advantage going into this one?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
So that's a secret. You want to keep that under the belt for come fight night on Saturday.
And everyone's going to find out eventually, but I'm not just a guy that's going to walk across the cage, get a takedown, take your back, and choke you out. I'm really, really good at a lot of things that people don't even know about yet.
Official prediction, man. How do you see yourself getting your hand raised? Sub. If this is a quick fight and you don't take any damage, would you like to get back in there, maybe go down to Abu Dhabi?
Immediately. I wanna be one of those guys that they can, as long as I'm not injured, that will show up and prove my worth. I think these guys are complaining about money right now, but they want to fight once a year. And I think it's just part of my humble beginnings. Like 12-12 is a lot of money to me, and then the chance to make $50,000 on a bonus, that's more money than I've seen in my entire life. And I obviously want to work towards making more, but I want to earn it. And I think that's just going to show. I think Connor's the best example of that. I think guys like that, where early on they just show up and fight, it doesn't matter. There's a lot more examples, but I want to earn my worth.
Last question. In a previous interview with what was his name, Rodney James Edgar, you said that there was only a couple of different fighters in the lightweight division right now that you would actually need a camp for to prepare and go in there to fight. Who are those fighters?
The really, really like probably like Tony, Khabib, Gaethje, maybe Ramos, guys where I think it might be maybe a little bit more grappling. But like I said, I don't really do the whole camp thing. I'm training hard all the time. Mm-hmm. And then my coaches kind of will let me know what I need to watch out for. But I'm definitely more of a feel it out kind of guy, even though it doesn't look like it in my fights. I'm very calm and collected, even when I'm sparring hard and in all my fights. You watch my face, it's like cold. And I try to read and react and try to make them do what they think they want to do and probe a lot and stuff and try to just read and react.
Well, I'm very excited for Saturday night to watch you make your UFC debut. I really appreciate the time, man. If there's anyone you'd like to thank or social media you'd like to plug, the floor is yours.
Yeah, just maxing XXX out on Twitter, and then max 2xing out on Instagram. And then I just want to thank everyone who's ever had my back, and I want to thank everyone who's never had my back, because screw you.